He was the most unlikable candidate in the history of presidents, and that's saying a lot.
Biden says the same thing.
He's number two. Has anyone, Biden says something, does anyone go like, oh.
Right.
So they used to go, oh, what did he say?
What is happening in America? You can feel it. Something we've worked for and dreamed of for a long time. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial. And when he woke up, he made his own kind of history. The first person to run for president with 34 felonies.
Hillary Clinton pacing like a volcano ready to erupt. Steam practically rising off her shoulders. Meanwhile, Tyrus just drops bombshells as if he's listing grocery items. One shocking revelation after another. These secrets dirtier than a toddler's sneakers after a full-on mud run. The tension explodes. Hillary's reaction could power an entire city block with raw fury. And you're sitting there thinking, what on earth could be so outrageous that it made her lose it this bad? Buckle up, because this meltdown makes every political drama look like a cheap soap opera gone wild.
Tyrus, and this goes back to 2016, people were reluctant to talk to pollsters. Say, I like Donald Trump. And now, fast forward 8 years later, essentially they're saying, if you like him, you're in a cult. Do you really want to be in a cult?
If the cult that Hillary doesn't like, yeah.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe. You seriously don't want to miss this one. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be living her best post-political life, gliding through talk shows, sharing perfectly rehearsed wisdom, and soaking in applause like a Broadway star, taking her final bow. But then came Tyrus, storming onto the scene like a bull in a china shop, dropping shocking secrets that sound like they were pulled straight out of Area 51's secret vaults.
The red hat, I'll get one. Like, it's ridiculous. When the losing side, or someone, she's just a very unlikable person and will say anything to get this attention. But here's the thing, it's changed. America has changed. We no longer listen to that stuff. Now when they say it, we go, that's why I didn't vote.
Suddenly, the woman who survived decades of Washington scandals is allegedly exploding. Like someone yanked the plug on her teleprompter mid-sentence. And let's be real, if anyone was going to push Hillary past her breaking point, it wasn't a senator. It wasn't an international rival, and it definitely wasn't a panel of friendly journalists tossing softballs. No, it had to be Tyrus, a man who looks like he was engineered in a WWE lab, then repurposed into a walking truth grenade. He doesn't tiptoe into controversy. He belly flops right into it with a splash that shakes the room.
Clinton is one of the most disgusting human beings on the planet. Very much so. Always has been, always will be, and will be inserting clips on her response to Benghazi several times throughout the interview. I want to show who she is.
She's worse than her husband.
But a lot of people say that this was triggered by a YouTube video. This is her statement. I condemn in the strongest terms the attack on our mission in Benghazi today. The United States deplores any intentional effort to denigrate the religious beliefs of others. Our commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning.
Picture this. The world is minding its own business. Politics trudging along in its usual swampy mess. Then suddenly Tyrus decides today's the day he's going to dig deep into the dirtiest secrets imaginable. Not the kind of polished secrets politicians can spin with a smile. No, these are the grimy stain-your-reputation kind that make dry, clean-only careers start smelling like gym socks after 4th of July barbecue.
Talks, you kind of get why Bill did what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, it sounds like, again, I don't condone, cheating, but that's your morning.
Yeah.
You gotta kiss that before you go to bed at night, and then you gotta sleep with one eye open?
Yeah.
And when those secrets hit the light, Hillary's reaction isn't quiet. It's a full-blown spectacle. Forget icy glares or polite rebuttals. This was fireworks-level fury. The kind of explosion that makes you wonder if someone swapped her morning latte for jet fuel. Tyrus has always had a gift. He doesn't just call things out. He detonates them with style and confidence that leaves jaws on the floor.
Your buddy Epstein off himself, and she has all this extra footage cut up in the closet. Like, I bet Bill has not had a good night's sleep for years. I mean, that's why he aged so bad. Like, A lot of people don't know this. Bill Clinton is only 37 years old.
He treats scandals like wrestling storylines, amped up with drama, swagger, and just enough showmanship to keep everyone glued to their screens. So when he goes after Hillary, it's not just about exposing some dusty corner of the past. It's about creating a spectacle so massive it makes cable news look like a puppet show for kids. And Hillary, oh, she can't stand it. Because if there's one thing she spent her entire career trying to control, it's the narrative, the speeches, the interviews, the image of always being 5 steps ahead. Tyrus, though, doesn't play chess. He throws chaos into the ring and watches the explosion. So, when those secrets start spilling, Hillary reacts like someone flipped her internal switch from calm to nuclear meltdown. Imagine her pacing, shouting, waving her arms like she's both the director and star of her own political soap opera.
She's just evil. Like, there's nothing like her.
What? You should tweet that. Like, don't you have...
I think she just sits around in her evil lair. Whenever she runs out of Eye of Newt and Small Children to Boil, she then goes to X and just says whatever the most evilest thing. I think if the devil himself showed up, like, you'll never hear her being possessed by a demon. You know what I'm saying? The demon will walk in and the demon will be calling Dr. Phil, you don't believe that I just saw, bro. Like,
So what exactly did Tyrus uncover? Let's just say it wasn't sweet bedtime gossip. These weren't the kind of rumors you giggle about over brunch. They were the kind that drag old scandals out of their graves, dust them off, and shove them under blinding spotlights. Suddenly, the ghosts of Hillary's past controversies weren't whispers. They were marching front and center like a chaotic parade gone wrong. And the thing about Hillary, she's weathered enough scandals to fill an entire Netflix anthology. That's exactly what her inner circle fears, the unpredictability. You can't script a counterattack when the other guy refuses to follow the script. Her explosion becomes the real story. Not the secrets themselves, but the spectacle of her reaction. Suddenly, it's less about truth and more about how loudly Hillary is slamming the door to keep those skeletons inside.
catfish. Well, they wanted us to believe it was a big naughty redhead that was going around, was going to ruin the world, do all kinds of bad things to us. Turns out, the catfish was, hey, we don't poo here. But for this one time, you may poo.
Nothing screams I'm shaken louder than a full-blown meltdown in public. And of course, the internet devoured it like the grand finale of a reality TV show. Memes popped up overnight. One side claimed Hillary's reaction proved she was guilty of everything under the sun, while the other insisted Tyrus was just a showman tossing dirt for views. But while everyone shouted past each other, the real winner was the chaos itself. Because in 2025, political explosions aren't just headlines, they're entertainment. Hillary's been called every name imaginable, dragged through endless investigations, and still stood tall like she was untouchable. Yet one oversized pundit with a flair for drama sends her into a pressure cooker explosion that tells you everything about the psychological chess match happening behind the scenes.
If the pantsuit fits. Hillary Clinton, you owe Russia an apology. And there should be an apology tour for lying to the American people and ruining 2 years of Trump's presidency and affecting elections with Russiagate, impeachment, and fake dossiers. Oh yeah, let's not forget the P-tape.
Because this isn't just about facts. It's about perception. And in politics, perception is reality. When Hillary blows up, it feeds the idea that maybe, just maybe, the secret struck a nerve. Once people think you're rattled, half the battle is already lost. Tyrus knows that game inside out. He doesn't need evidence or charts, just a perfectly timed bombshell, a smug grin, and the confidence that Hillary will do the rest by overreacting. It's the oldest trick in the playbook. Poke the bear, then let the bear make the headlines for you. And judging by those headlines, his plan worked better than he could have dreamed. By now, you think Hillary would have mastered the art of brushing off controversy. But that explosion proved even pros can slip, watching her scramble afterward trying to spin it and pretend she was calm all along. It was too late. The internet had already crowned it Meltdown of the Year, while Tyrus had already moved on to his next storm of chaos.
You should remember what Donald Trump said about Hillary Clinton back in the 2016 debate.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
You're going to jail, lady.
That explosion wasn't just a reaction. It was a full-on performance. You couldn't help but wonder if Hillary had secretly rehearsed it in front of a mirror. She didn't just argue, she erupted. Arms flying, voice rising, every ounce of bottled-up irritation unleashed as if Tyrus had pressed the launch button himself. It was like watching a Shakespearean tragedy rewritten as a WWE Showdown, complete with imaginary background music only she could hear. Subtlety, not her thing. Sure, she tries, puts on that politician smile, leans into the mic, delivers her lines like a courtroom pro. But when Tyrus drops his bombs, that polish melts faster than ice cream in July. Watching her explode wasn't just about what he said. It shattered the illusion of her untouchable mystique. The internet, of course, went wild. Memes spread faster than Hillary's temper, and everyone was watching the chaos unfold.
Since they can't air the truth, they control the storyline, and they've lost control of it. From bloodbath to democracy. Last night, Hillary tried framing the election like this. Both guys are old, but you can't vote for the one we indicted. What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices. One is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 90.
One moment she's firing off heated rebuttals, and the next boom, she's plastered all over social media as a volcano, a mushroom cloud, even a glitching robot sparking out on live TV. Twitter dubbed her Mount Hillary. TikTok had remix videos pairing her meltdown with Tyrus grinning like a cat that just snagged an eagle. Even people who couldn't care less about politics tuned in because watching one of the most powerful figures in modern history unravel in real time. That's binge-worthy content. Hashtags exploded worldwide. News anchors tried to stay serious, but you could see them holding back laughter. Every attempt to clean it up just made things worse. It was like trying to put out a grease fire with gasoline. The fallout was wild. Late-night comedians feasted on it. Pundits built conspiracy theories, and the internet tied it to everything from Wall Street to wild lizard tales. The chaos was unstoppable.
He's back like a sore on a porn star's lip. Ew. Complain on X about Trump cleaning up D.C., she says, quote, on one hand, Republican officials call themselves war fighters. On the other, they become whiny crybabies at the thought of setting foot in D.C. streets and New York City subways that literal school children navigate every day without incident. Real macho stuff. Then she got off social media and returned to moving a dead body to a park.
Meanwhile, Hillary's defenders rushed in, calling her outburst righteous anger. The kind you unleash when you finally had enough of cheap shots. But let's be honest, anger that loud doesn't look strong. It looks like insecurity dressed up for Halloween. The irony is brutal. Hillary built her whole career on surviving chaos, brushing off scandals, and standing tall through it all like the unstoppable force she's known to be. Yet now, a TV personality with a flair for theatrics managed to unravel her composure. The contrast was so sharp, so absurd, even her biggest supporters had to admit this wasn't her shining moment. And Tyrus, he didn't need to lift another finger. The media did the work, and the internet brought the popcorn. Hillary knew the rules. She's been playing this game longer than most have been alive. The second she lost control, the optics turned deadly. Because in politics, it's not about truth. It's about how it looks. And for someone who's built her image on being unshakable, that slip was catastrophic.
It's not just ironic, it's not just rich, it's actually pretty sad.
What happened to Quorum?
Gone,
What
sadly.
happened to being the so-called leader in the room? He's being indicted, great. But let's not forget, you lost your election because of your, quote, crookedness. So let's not forget that. So yeah, she didn't get charges put on her, which probably should have, but she lost the election because of her underhand dealing. So let's
Now zoom out and take in spectacle. It wasn't just a feud between a politician and a pundit. It was a full-blown symbol of how politics has fused with entertainment. Drama is the new currency. Outrage is the stock market. And Hillary's explosion was the equivalent of watching the Dow Jones crash live. Everyone was glued to their screens, not for policy debates, but for the show and drama. Hillary delivered plenty of it. It's almost poetic. She spent decades projecting power, control, and resilience. The image of someone who could survive anything. Yet, here she was lighting up the world stage with raw emotion. Even world leaders couldn't resist a laugh, watching from afar and saying, "Only in America." Meanwhile, the public couldn't get enough. Sharing memes, arguing over which one captured the meltdown best, completely forgetting what even started it. The timing made it all funnier. She wasn't running for office or pushing an agenda. She was just existing. And somehow that alone became front-page chaos.
So happy about it. That was an opportunity for her. They're always talking about closing the division. It would have been an opportunity for her to be gracious and be supposedly the leader, but again, she just can't stay away from herself.
Maturity doesn't always come with age.
No, it really doesn't. It's sad, and this certainly with the given climate where everybody's after each other's throat. Here's a chance for a leader to show a little bit of class necessary. You don't have to like President Trump. You could think he was guilty of sin or innocent of sin, but when you're put in that position, there was an opportunity for her to show what leaders.
And then boom, Tyrus turns her into headline gold overnight. Suddenly, her face is everywhere again. Like, fate decided she wasn't allowed a quiet retirement. Not when her reaction still makes such explosive content. And honestly, that's the krillest twist of all. Hillary wanted to be remembered as a trailblazer, a powerhouse who shaped history. But instead, she's gone viral for losing her cool. All because a pundit with a flair for spectacle exposed her dirty secrets with carnival-level drama. It's pure Shakespearean irony mixed with a dose of internet chaos. The more you think about it, the funnier it gets because her explosion wasn't just about her. It was about how ridiculous modern politics has become. It revealed more about the circus of American power than any serious report ever could. Now, the real question isn't can she recover. It's does she even want to? After a spectacle this massive, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. You either ride the chaos or drown in it. And if history tells us anything, Hillary Clinton never goes down quietly.